Hey everyone! Welcome back to another English shadowing practice. Today, we're going to do something a little different. Instead of practicing separate sentences, we're going to practice English through a simple, everyday story. And honestly, this is a story many of us can relate to. Have you ever woken up late and suddenly felt like your whole morning was going wrong? Well, that happened to me. So, grab your headphones, relax, and just listen to the story. Don't worry about speaking perfectly. Just listen, repeat, and have fun with it. Ready? All right, let's get started. It was Monday morning, and I was supposed to catch a train at 10 o'clock. Sounds easy, right? Well, not exactly. My alarm went off at 7. I opened my eyes, looked at the time, and thought, just 5 more minutes. You know that feeling? You think 5 minutes won't make a difference. Well, it definitely did. When I woke up again, it was 8:30. I jumped out of bed and said, "Oh no, I'm late!" I quickly got ready. I brushed my teeth, took a quick shower, and put on whatever clothes I could find. I didn't even have time to think about my outfit. I just grabbed my bag and started packing. Phone? Check. Charger? Check. Headphones? Check. Notebook? Check. Perfect! I put on my shoes, grabbed my keys, and rushed out. I was finally on my way. Then, about halfway to the station, I suddenly stopped. Wait a minute. Something was missing. I checked my pockets. Nothing. I checked my bag. Still nothing. Then I realized I had forgotten my wallet. Oh, come on! I stood there for a second, wondering what to do. Should I go back? Should I keep going? I checked the time. 8:55. I sighed. Okay, I'm going back. So, I ran home, grabbed my wallet, and rushed outside again. At this point, I was already tired, and my morning had barely started. I tried to get a taxi, but every taxi seemed to be taken. So, I checked my ride-sharing app. The driver would take 12 minutes to arrive. 12 minutes? Seriously? I didn't want to wait that long. So I decided to take the bus. I ran to the bus stop and waited, and waited, and waited. I looked at my watch. 9:15. No, no, no! Then, finally, I saw the bus. Thank goodness! I got on, found a seat, and thought, okay, now everything is going to be fine. But guess what? Traffic. Of course. The bus was moving so slowly. I kept looking at the time. 9:25, 9:30, 9:35. At that point, I started getting nervous. I thought, am I actually going to miss my train? 2 stops before the station, I gave up. I got off the bus and started walking. Then I walked faster. Then even faster. And, honestly, by the end, I was basically running. I reached the station at 9:48. I looked at the screen. My train was at 10, platform 6. Okay, I can still make it. I rushed inside. The station was packed. People were everywhere. Someone was carrying a huge suitcase. Someone else was standing right in the middle of the walkway. And I was thinking, please, just let me through. I kept saying, excuse me, sorry, excuse me. Finally, I reached the stairs. I ran down to the platform, and then I heard an announcement. The train to Pune is arriving shortly. My heart started beating faster. That's my train! I looked down the platform. There it was. The train was waiting. People were already getting on. I ran toward the nearest door, and just as I got there, the door started closing. I thought, that's it! I missed it! But somehow, I managed to get inside. I made it! I stood there for a moment, trying to catch my breath. Then I found a seat and sat down. I was exhausted, but I was also laughing. I couldn't believe everything that had happened in just one morning. I woke up late. I forgot my wallet. I ran back home. I couldn't find a taxi. I got stuck on a slow bus. I ran through the station. And somehow, I still caught my train. A few minutes later, my sister called me. She asked, "Where are you?" "I'm on the train." She laughed. Already? Yeah, but you really don't want to know what happened. Oh, I definitely want to know. So I told her everything. She listened quietly. Then she said, I have one question. What? Why didn't you just wake up on time? I started laughing. Okay, fair point. We both laughed. After the call, I put my phone away and looked out the window. The train was moving smoothly. The city was slowly disappearing behind me. And finally, I felt relaxed. Looking back, the whole thing was actually pretty funny. At the time, I was stressed. But now? It was just a funny story to tell. And I guess that's how life works sometimes. Things don't always go according to plan. Sometimes you mess up. Sometimes you have to improvise. And sometimes you just have to laugh and keep going. But from that day on, I made myself one promise. Never trust the 5 more minutes alarm. It's dangerous. Now it's your turn. Okay, now it's your turn. Now listen again and speak along with me. Don't worry about missing a few words. Just keep going. Copy the rhythm, pauses, and pronunciation, and try to sound natural. Then, put the script away and retell the story in your own words. You don't need to memorize it. Just focus on speaking confidently. That's all for today. Keep listening, repeating, and speaking. Thanks for practicing with me. See you in the next shadowing practice.